You can definitely tell that the transfer window is fast approaching, with all the speculation surrounding the football club. Despite being champions for the third time in a row, there is still a feeling that the Hoops will make a fair few additions this summer. In today's video, we'll discuss a defender signing we are reportedly ramping up the efforts for, whilst also going over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours. There is so much to cover in today's video. And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we do get into today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Celtic are set to clash with rivals Rangers in the Scottish Cup final this Saturday at 3 PM. Rodgers could cap his first season back at Celtic with a domestic double, having already clinched the league title by an impressive 8-point margin. This year's league campaign saw Celtic overcoming a mid-season slump to finish strongly at the top of the table. The upcoming derby at Hampden Park holds a particular spectacle, as it will be the first time this season that both Celtic and Rangers fans will be present in the stadium, a change from the league games which did not permit away fans. This is set to change next season with the return of 2,500 fans to league matches. In preparation for the final, Rodgers provided a positive update on the team's condition during an interview with Celtic TV. The squad is in good condition. We have Welshie with his shoulder, but he has trained in the last few days. Everyone else has come through all the preparation. Fitness-wise, they are in a good place, he reported. Welsh returns after an injury on the trophy day that saw him lifting the trophy with his arm in a sling. Just a quick one, boys and girls, to tell you that we have a new drop available on our website. We have the Brendan Rodgers Pope tee, along with the Celtic Ultra t-shirts. Do browse the collection by going down to the link in the description or going to celticapparel.com. Anyway, let's get back into today's video. Celtic is set to take on Manchester United in a Legends match at Old Trafford later this year. The game, scheduled for 7th of September, aims to raise funds for the Manchester United Foundation. Manchester United Legends, led by the iconic former captain Brian Robson, will host the event. This match follows in the footsteps of similar charity games hosted by other major clubs like Liverpool, who have also welcomed Celtic last summer for a Legends match. Prior to this match in Manchester, the Celtic Legends will also be in action against Borussia Dortmund at Celtic Park this coming Sunday, with many big names making a Parkhead return. The match does take place in the first international break of the season, so it won't clash with a Celtic match. It's not the September weekend for Glasgow, however, many other councils in Scotland have a long weekend at the start of the month, giving families an excuse to get a weekend away. Celtic are ramping up efforts to secure the services of Ghanaian international Daniel Amati, according to reports. Brendan Rodgers, who has previous ties with Amati from their time together at Leicester, is intent on bringing a defender who can also play in midfield to Parkhead. Although linked to Celtic following Leicester's drop to the Championship last summer, Amati instead opted for a move to Turkish giants Besiktas on a free transfer. This term, the 29-year-old has clocked up 27 appearances for the Besiktas, though his initial promise has waned as the season progressed. Reports indicate that Rodgers is keen to orchestrate a reunion with the 53-time capped international in the upcoming transfer window. Amati boasts considerable Premier League credentials, having spent more than 7 seasons with Leicester, including playing a part in their stunning 2016 league triumph. He joined from FC Copenhagen in January of that year and was also pivotal under Rodgers' stewardship in clinching Leicester's inaugural FA Cup in 2021. Amati's tally at Leicester reached 145 senior outings, where he notched 3 goals. With Besiktas enduring a lacklustre campaign, positioned 5th in the Super League, their demands for Amati are expected to be modest. Rodgers, who is targeting Celtic's 55th title next season, appears eager to bolster his squad after a season where he had to rely on players he wouldn't have used if not for injury worries and poor recruitment. Brendan Rodgers' Thursday comments about the size of Celtic and how well they do in their English Premier League seem to have stirred up some media personalities down south. The concept of Celtic playing in England has been discussed and debated for decades. There seems to be a fascination from those in England media particularly about what it would be like to see the boys take on the elite of the Premier League. Rodgers made an appearance in TalkSport yesterday to discuss the boys' season and the upcoming Scottish Cup final against Rangers. Inevitably, the Premier League subject reared its head again. The boys' boss said, "There's no doubt, if Celtic was in the Premier League, it would be up there in minimum. That top 6 bracket is absolutely incredible. Wherever you go in the world, you will meet a Celtic supporter. The fan base, the history of the club, that's what makes it a truly, truly massive club." Hours later, his comments appeared to rile up late-night host Andy Goldstein, who took objection with Rodgers' assertion and suggested Celtic were only giants in Scotland, rather than a massive club that could definitely compete with the best in England if they had the resources of Premier League TV money. Former Spurs and Villa forward Darren Bent argued against Goldstein and reckoned Celtic would be a big draw to players if they were in that league. To that extent, they would be competing towards the top of the table. He said, "Celtic around the world, Celtic are massive. If Celtic were in the Premier League, players would want to go and play for them. They are a massive club all around the world. You put them in the Premier League, there are no guarantees. They would attract big players. I'd give them a good crack at it. They would get a big opportunity. If you're a top player and Celtic are in the Premier League, where are you going? Celtic or Bournemouth?" Goldstein then read off a list of multiple clubs, including Everton and West Ham, with Bent saying he'd rather sign for the boys. The former striker added they'd have a good chance of being in the top 6 if they were in the Premier League for a few years. That's a fact. Nobody is saying right now. The likelihood is that we'll never be able to test out this theory. English clubs would never vote to include a club like Celtic in the league because it would make it harder for everyone to achieve success with another top side to compete against. Celtic need to continue to assert their dominance in Scotland, tool up for the new look of UEFA Champions League and make an impression on that scene. That's the way to leave no one in any doubt about the power of Celtic. Celtic's winning campaign in the Scottish Premiership has seen heroes emerge, perhaps none as surprising as Liam Scales, who has become a cornerstone of Brendan Rodgers' defence. In a season marked by injury challenges and squad rotation, Scales has risen from the periphery to play a crucial role, particularly highlighted by his teammate Alistair Johnston. Johnston, the Canadian right-back, who himself has been a consistent presence this season with 1 goal and 7 assists in 41 appearances, recently praised Scales for his exceptional contribution. The former Montreal player was full of praise for the Irishman Scales, who lives and breathes Celtic. Speaking on the Celtic FC official podcast, Johnston said, "He's been great. He's someone who plays for the badge and lives and breathes this football club, and you can tell how much every single minute out there means to him. So it's been a real joy, especially being another defender playing alongside him, seeing his growth, seeing his confidence. He's turned into a really important centre-half for us, and played a pivotal part for us in lifting this title." Scales looked like he would be heading for the Celtic exit last summer, but injury saw Rodgers turn to him. He stepped up to the plate and has earned himself a new 4-year deal at the club through his performances this season. Celtic fans, what are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video, and what are your score predictions for this weekend's Scottish Cup final against Rangers? Let us know down in the comment section below. That brings us to the end of today's video, guys. As always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Remember, we have released our brand new Celtic t-shirts. You can find them at celticapparel.com or just check the link down below. Thank you, take care, bye bye.